today is a new one for the channel. We are looking at the SYNCO Xtalk XPro 5-pack specifically. That's what I got. They do 2 to 13 sets with one master, X amount of masters anyway. But yeah, we're looking at the Xtalk XPro wireless communication headsets. Summary: I do recommend them for certain jobs, certain gigs, and certain operations, but not all. If you want to know what they are, then keep watching. But yeah, they get my vote for a certain number of things. Before we go any further, these were gifted to me, if you like. I'm not being paid for this review. They haven't seen this review. You will see this review at the same time that SYNCO actually does. As much as I love free tech, free toys and all that jazz, I don't need it. I'm certainly never gonna compromise my opinion or good faith review for the sake of getting something free. And the day that happens, call me out on it, because that's just not me and it's not what I'm about. So these are my honest words, with no influence, no pre-approval, no pre-sent. You're watching it real time, the same as everyone else. This is my first tech review, so if I muddle words or miss bits or whatever else, there'll be all the details in the link in the description. There'll be a link where you can get them in the description. There'll be a link to the manufacturer, so SYNCO's website. So if I can't answer your questions, the guys on the SYNCO social team are tremendous. They're wonderful, and I'm sure I can get that answered really quick. And if you're interested in these kits and you'd like to talk to SYNCO, then again, please let me know down below, and I'll e-meet you and leave you to it. So without further ado or any more waffle, let's get on with the actual review. Let's bullet point for everyone out there that doesn't like waffle and just wants to listen, and I'll do this bit on the short as well. But let's bullet point the pros and cons. So pros, range was fantastic. I can't get them to go to 500 meters. I don't have fields to test that in, but I imagine if you had fields, you probably could. Going through industrial Wi-Fi, radio signals, and all kinds of communication devices, I got about 250 meters, which is more than ample for anybody that's going to be using these headsets. Clarity, blown away. The windiest environment with the loudest trucks and little chavs driving around in their stupidly loud cars, and you couldn't hear any of it, but the voice was crystal clear, so wonderful. Con I was going to call the build quality, but I'm putting in the pros because they're so lightweight and comfortable. You actually forget about them. That's what you want. You really do want that from any kind of equipment that's going to be on you. You just need it to work ergonomically with you, so that your day, which is going to be long, isn't made horrible with a sweaty, itchy head. Feature wise, there's tons of them. Any slave can become a master. Wonderful. You can master out all other channels, which is wonderful. Noise cancellation, voice enhancement. Yeah, they've got a whole blurb on it on their website, and I'll link that down below. But it really does work. They're not just saying it. It's effective and it works. Monitoring your camera through the headset as well. Monitoring your camera audio through the headset. There's a whole use case there just for that alone, with the clarity that you get from them. Controls are easily reachable and accessible, easy to learn. Tally light on the front of the mic, easy on off, cut out, so that you're not embarrassing yourself or anyone else on set. What else have we got in terms of pros? Removable battery, that's a huge one for me. You get everything you need in the kit, absolutely everything you need. So those batteries, you can get more, and the battery life lasts forever. At the moment, I haven't needed to charge them, which is bonkers, but yeah, the battery lasts for a very long time. And the case and display, like I've slung mine in the back of the van multiple times, just in and out on multiple sets, shoots, and yeah, like they've taken the beating. Con wise, I think the only big one for me was that you can't switch to 1.1. Wireless communication really comes in clutch and like is so effective. That's why we use it, and that's why we also need to have good wireless comms. So communication that can travel a long distance, and also comes with a lot of clarity, noise reduction, etc. So you're queuing an actor for action, you're queuing a gaffer for a light move, you're queuing a gaffer for a light action, or You've got multiple camera operators and you need to cue them in for a move or discuss, you know, who's getting what part of the call sheet and so on and so forth. You're in a car and you've got an operator hanging out the back, or you're in a car filming another car and, you know, you need them to perform actions. For a number of years, a couple of companies, literally one or two, had the monopoly, had a stronghold on this. But as we see this industry becoming more accessible, we're starting to see the tools of this industry become more accessible, and the level to entry is slowly dropping. So initial impressions, they come in a lovely case and a lovely hard shell case with absolutely everything you need and then some. Each headset is in a velvet soft pouch, which is really quite luxurious, to be honest. And they're separated into their own little units, which is great for people just to undo and take off and keep going. The batteries are removable, which is also fantastic because you can get more batteries, but to be honest with you, I haven't had a need to charge them yet, and they've run through an entire day's shoot and then some. So a massive selling point for these is you could do one master up to 13 headsets, I believe, and if they correct me when they see this, I'll put that in the comments down below. But they have two switches on, A and B, so you can also silence and master everything through the master headset. If your master headset goes down, you can assign one of the other headsets to be mastered. You can also monitor your camera audio through them whilst using, which is game-changing, wonderful feature. The voice enhancer and noise cancellation is phenomenal. I mean, crystal clear. On the range test, and I'll as I'm talking, I'll put in clips to what we actually did. We did a range test and it was very windy. The really noisy trucks, cars, all of that jazz whizzing by, and the voice channel comes through crystal clear. I mean, if you've used Resolve and cleaned up a voice in there, it's clearer than that. So massive thumbs up on clarity. Yeah, that's a simple case of, like with most standard wireless communication headsets, of flipping it up to cancel out your voice so you're not talking anymore. There's also a tally light on the front to let you know that you are live and coming through. Everything's really easy to reach. At first I thought it was a con. When I picked them up, they felt a bit flimsy, a bit light and flimsy, a bit plasticky. I then realised this was actually part of their design, which sounds daft, but after a full day of wearing them and getting in the van and not realising I was still wearing them, you kind of appreciate that light. It's like they're not on your head. After 5 minutes, they're just there. The cup is nice and comfortable, and they come with replacement and different cups as well for, like, I've got massive ears, so they come for people with different size ears, which is great. So comfort was fantastic, and the fact that you have this battery powered unit on your head that's capable of doing so much, and they're so lightweight, you can forget that they're there. I really did appreciate that. Now, when I say they're not for everywhere, they do operate on standard wavelengths, so 2.4 and 5 point whatever it is, the normal Wi-Fi wavelengths. So to give you a comparative of where these weren't useful, we were shooting live to TV in a venue of over 45,000 people across the festive period, and in that arena you can imagine there's a lot of Wi-Fi signals with people using their phones. And they all operate on the 2.4 to 5, whatever it is, gigahertz standard wavelengths. So you get a lot of interference. And then if, like me, you're at the front of the stage next to things like Sennheiser boosters and stuff like that, PA systems and all that jazz, it's really easy to kill any kind of wireless signal with them, because they're designed to travel to what we call front of house being where all of the technology is controlled by, like, vision mixers and broadcasters and producers, directors, etc. So they have to have the range. For this particular gig, the production went with Green Road, and that was because they were wired to a pack unit that worked on the 1.1, 1.2 gigahertz wireless band, which no one operates in really. I think Holiday and Mars do as well with some of their higher headphones or wireless communication sets. So when I say these aren't for everyone everywhere, if you're shooting like a church scenario, a small football game, music video, small narrative, indie, smaller venues with less public interaction and less people having Wi-Fi on set, then these really are, they're the option for you. They're great, they're fantastic. If you're shooting big arenas, comedians, like stand-ups, live TV shows where there's a lot of audience, a live band for instance, we've got a potential shoot coming up with quite a few big bands. These just wouldn't be reliable enough for the vision mixer to cue you in, or the director to cue you in on what you've got to do. So unfortunately, that was one of the shoots I had planned to run it for me and the cam op team, or some of the cam op team, towards the stage, so we could get a bit more intimate and a bit more teamwork going on. But after testing, when doors opened and people started coming in, unfortunately there was just too much interference for us to actually physically use that. Okay, so range. The range is stated at 500 meters, and like all manufacturers, I imagine that's in a field somewhere where there's zero interference and all the rest of it. But what I will say, I tested the clarity and the range in an industrial area, so loads of Wi-Fi interference, loads of radio interference, loads of big RSJ metal components, big metal roofs, lots of stock, loads of heavy lorry traffics going past, and like a really crappy place to test. I tested them in that environment because I wanted to use them in a small cinematic commercial that I had coming up with a crew of 12. So, and not everyone in that crew, before you shout in the comments, needed to be on comms, just the HOD, so people in control of their departments, if you like. I really needed to know that before I put them to the test that they were going to work, and so therefore by doing that and then shooting with them on a project, I know full well that you can go ahead and purchase them safely. I think we got about 250 meters before they started cutting out and losing clarity, and that had like a really doomsday scenario of interference between myself and my first AC. I couldn't hear myself talk from the wind, but you could hear me clear as day on the other side, and I could hear the first AC clear as day coming through to me as well. They're not expensive for what you're getting, and the fact you can get that clarity and monitor your camera and such a great distance and everything else. We're really spoiled. We're so spoiled with tech these days. It's unreal. We had a small cinematic commercial to shoot for quite a big brand. I can probably just talk about and drop some hints on who the brand might have been, but I am under gag on that one, so there's no BTS from that. It was a small crew, 7 to 12 crew. There's about 24 clients there. It was mental, but somebody there should be assigned to sign off shots, and so rather than having a runner running back and forward trying to get shots signed off and people view, what we actually do is we set up a video village for the client to see exactly what's going on as we shoot it. And then a great way to use these comms is to have a runner or a production assistant there on comms asking the client for sign off, so you can move on to the next part of the call sheet. If you try and imagine those kind of scenarios where all you need to do is be at the camera and looking through your eyepiece, trying to assess what's working, what's not working, and what needs tailoring and everything else, having these little messages to pass over to people that will really help you. And then obviously you don't want to have talent hanging around on set whilst you're trying to faff around with all this stuff, and you know they've got stuff to be getting on with as well. Having the ability to just flip down a mic and then you know, address who you're going to address, and it happen, so you can see it happening and you can communicate those changes as they're happening. It saves so much time, and that saves so much money, stress, etc, etc. That was a review. It was probably terrible, but if you're looking for a 2 to 13 headset that isn't going to break the bank, going to make you look professional, work really well, go and buy them. They're great. I'm not getting any commission from it or anything like that. That's just my honest opinion. If you're shooting large venue stuff, then these probably aren't the ones for you. But if you're curious or question, or you want to test something with them, I have the 5-piece set. and I love meeting new people, so let's test them out, and hit me up down below first, and then we can do the DM thing and all that jazz. But that's it. So if it's the start of the week for you, I hope you're having a fantastic week, and if it's the end of the week for you, I hope you've had a great week, and I will see you in the next one.